everybody, it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I am super excited to be joining up with my friend Alice over at the Scrap Happy membership for the Load Challenge, or the Layout a Day Challenge this month. And today is day 3, where we are documenting something we are passionate about, and then we were also challenged to find a layout in the gallery that someone else had created, and use that to kind of add what we are passionate about to that. So I am documenting my love of books and reading and all that kind of thing in this particular layout. And I am adding my passion into this layout that I found in the gallery by including lots of kind of geometric patterns and bright colors and lots of fun layers. So I loved this layout from Marcy because she has all of these really great different pattern papers all combined together. They flow seamlessly, and then she's added in these really cool floral elements. So those are kind of the same things that I am going to try to play with in this particular layout. So I am taking this blue polka dot paper from Vicky Booten Sweet Rush and combining it with 2 of the Pink Fresh Studio papers from Life Right Now. So then I decided I wanted some of those great layers behind my photo like Marcy has in her layout. So I pulled out this kind of leftover paper pad that I've been working my way through on my desk, and I'm kind of adding in a little bit of the red and yellow just to kind of bring everything together. Now I know, like in my head as I'm planning out my layout, that I'm going to use that pack of floral that you see kind of in the top part of the screen from the Life Right Now collection. From there, I want to go ahead and add in one of these pocket cards. So I'm playing with the Paper Person. This was like a little mini kit that was all about reading. And so I love some of the icons and patterns, and I love that rainbow library card. And it makes me even more happy because it came with a matching washi and because there's 2 of that card in the kit. So I'm going to use one on this layout and, of course, hoard and save another one for something else. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a couple of these cards apart to go into my layers. So once I have my pattern paper kind of where I want it on this particular layout, and I play around with the placement a little bit, just because I want my layers to look intentional, then I'm going to go ahead and stick that kind of navy blue book piece up here in the top. But then I wanted a little bit more variation in color between the blue and the greens and the turquoise. So I had this little scrap of yellow gingham on my desk, and I'm just going to tuck in some little torn pieces of that. And because I don't want it to look like out of place, having it only in that one spot, I'm also going to add a little pop of that down here on the bottom so it looks very intentional. And then I want to create a little embellishment kind of area where I can build my title. So I'm going to take one of these library cards that came in that same little kit, and then I'm going to also add in some other things. So I'm looking to see if I have any other pattern paper in that 6x6 I wanted to use, but then I also remember a little bit later on that I have some die cuts that came in that pack, so I'm going to get some of those in there too. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get some of these florals in here because I know that I want those to be part of this layout because they match the colors and everything just perfectly. So I'm going to have kind of one cluster in that top right-hand corner, and then I was thinking about the bottom right-hand side, but in order to kind of balance the layout a little bit better, I'm going to put it over here on the left. And then I want to cut this one single little flower out, and I'm going to have that kind of overlap on top of my photo so that I have a little extra dimension with those flowers. And I am going to pull out some dimensional adhesive to kind of finish off these cluster areas, or at least to give the flowers some additional height. So one of them is going to be flat, and then the smaller one is going to get that foam on top so that it will stand up off the page. Because I love the look that that does when you go ahead and have different layers to your floral clusters, because it makes it seem like there's a lot of different dimension going on. So some of those on foam just kind of helps that look. And then I'm going to go back to kind of figuring out, do I want more florals? What do I want to do up here with the title element? And I feel like that corner on the bottom is a little bit too, like, I don't know, too stark of a corner. So I'm going to look for this little teeny tiny flower that I can kind of tuck in that space just to make that corner seem a little more finished. It has less weight than the other two clusters because it is down there with those rainbow books, and it just doesn't need that same kind of level of weight. And that's when I find that embellishment pack, so I can go ahead and go back to that. And I love this big bookish word, so we're going to use that as part of our title. And then there's also some tags in here that I decided would be perfect, kind of bulking up the area behind that title. The word bookish is just going to be the beginning of the title itself, so I wanted to have enough stuff up there to give it some weight. And then I loved that little die cut I found down there on the bottom, so I added some foam and threw that in the corner as well. And I'm kind of overlapping all of my layers, all of my die cuts, because that helps everything flow a little bit better. So I don't really have anything floating off all by itself. Everything is kind of contained and works with everything else. So once I have that little cluster up at the top ready, I know that I want to add the word love underneath. So I'm just looking for an alpha that I think will work. And these Amy Tangerine yellow ones seemed like a good fun fit. So I'm going to get the word love in that little space. And while I am working on like finishing up all these clusters and things, I'm trying to make sure that I've created balance with all the clusters in terms of the style, so I have florals everywhere, but also so that I have the right colors. So I have a balance of like yellow, red, blue, those types of things through all of my clusters as well. And so I'm just going to get this kind of half of the layout tacked down. I do want to add my journaling down in that green space at the bottom, but I'm feeling like I need a little something else. So I have a stamp that I decided to pull out and incorporate. And this is one of those things that I often bring in because I feel like it just adds kind of a cool element to that background. So I'm going to go ahead and do like the first, second, third generation stamping. So you get the black and then dark gray, light gray for each one. And it's just this kind of dreamer quote, which I thought worked perfectly with the book theme of this particular layout. And that stamping, I guess, also adds to that things that I am passionate about on this layout because I love including stamping. And now this is the book stamp set that also came with this particular kit, and it has this one little circle embellishment area that has like a paper book. And I know that I want to talk in my journaling about how, you know, I love having my Kindle and my electronic books, but there is nothing like that beats a paper book. So I went ahead and stamped that on the little pink kind of library card piece that was left over. And then I'm going to add some foam and stick that in that little spot. So then I felt like I had a little like trapped area in between the word love and where I put that little stamp. So I went back to my embellishment pack to find a phrase that I thought would work. And there's one that says true story. And so I'm going to tuck that into that spot, and I feel like that really kind of finished off that area. So then off screen, I am going to go ahead and add in my journaling, talking about my love of reading and how there's nothing that beats having a paper copy of a book. So I would love to hear in the comments if you are the same way. Like, I love my Kindle, but I prefer my paper copy. And I also talk about the fact that I literally will read like any genre, lots of topics, change everything up all the time. And so that's kind of what my journaling talks about for this one. I hope you enjoyed seeing my take on load day 3. If you are playing along, make sure to tag me because I would love to see what you make today. Thank you so much, Marcy, for the inspiration, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!